Welcome to the first podcast of Lawon Exum, the one of a kind, a podcast where we celebrate innovators, culture MVPs, icons that are doing stuff in any industry, and we want to give them their flowers while they can smell them. My first guest is my brother from another mother. And the reason why I say that is because we met through the reality TV world back in the day. I can't even describe the relationship that we have right now from early 2000s. They were on Survivor. I'm gonna let him tell his story. But here he is, my brother, my king, Sean.
That's a nice intro, right? Okay. All right, my fellow king, my brother.
You already know how we roll. So,
I do know.
Let's start off by, first of all, thank you. I want to thank you, for real. Thank you for coming on my first show, which has been a goal of mine for over 10 years, which you know. Yeah. I mean, you've seen it. You have witnessed what I've been trying to do ever since I've been off of reality TV. But this ain't about me. This is not about me.
But it kind of is. It kind of is because, but go ahead, because I'm going to be giving you your flowers.
Oh, wait. We have really been through a lot over them 20 years that we've known each other. I mean, I can go back to my journey where, I would start like during the pandemic. The pandemic was the best time of my life. And the reason being is because I learned how to love myself again. But not only love again, when I say love again, I mean like love on myself more, because I was going through the race of, working and just working, and you work life, and not really taking the time to really look at what I have to give to the world. I was able at that time during the pandemic to just shut down and like reverse and like resurrect who I am and what I can bring to the world. So I got me a yoga mat. I got me one of them old school 80s video games, got to my wall, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, and got a Peloton bike and meditated. And I got myself together to the point where I went back to school. I was going to school during the pandemic as well. And not only did I go back to school, I was going to USC. That was huge.
One of the number one universities in the country.
During the pandemic, went back to school and loved it. But it was a task because we was all in the house.
Right.
So for me, it was like, get yourself together, get your mind right. And I was able to study good to the point where I got straight A's. Now I know probably 10, 12, I wouldn't better get no straight A's. I would have been like, again, life going,
Right.
But because of that, I focused so hard that not only did I get one master's, I got two. A master's in communication management and specialization of journalism of the arts. Straight A's. Straight A's. You was there to celebrate with me. You was there.
I was.
But the accomplishment for that was so good for me that I wanted to celebrate it to the point where, how will I be able to give back? And now I feel like I can give back. I'm armored to give back. It's my gift. I feel like it's my gift. This is not my plan that I'm doing right now. You already know it's not. Like I said, this ain't about me. But but for those who you're hearing us right now. I am Lawon Exum. I am a black male with curly, brownish auburn hair, with a gold jacket with a bedazzled like a sequin, a black shirt with some sequin gold pants with some gold ring like black socks with some gold ring with a tuxedo shoe with a strap on it. Not a bow tie, but a strap. The tuxedo shoe with a black tuxedo shoe. What?
Come on.
But I just want to describe myself for those who are listening right now. Okay. So when they do see it, they'll be like, well,
well damn, he was bedazzling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enough about me.
Okay.
So, yeah. So what's been up with you? I want to go back. Okay, I want to start with you being on Survivor. Let's go by our relationship. And
Okay.
then
Okay.
you just go ahead.
Well, you want me to start on how, like, Survivor?
Yeah, Survivor.
On Survivor?
Yeah, okay.
I was teaching in South Central at the time, acting, but teaching was like the side hustle, trying to figure things out. But teaching regularly, I was supposed to be like in this teacher intern program. But most of my actor friends, we were just kind of moonlighting, but really good at moonlighting. But the idea for Survivor came along when I had done a few shows. You know, when actors come out, you just hustle to figure out what you're going to. I was on a dating game. I was on Blind Date.
You was?
I was, yeah. You dig up some old archives. You see me on there with my cornrows, trying to be cute. And, you know,
Really?
just
Okay.
TV and all of that.
Okay.
And then this opportunity came up, sent in a tape. Young man was doing, my son's godfather, Dre, we call him Dr. Dre, but Dre Harper was doing a documentary on 3 men, white, black, and Latino, that are doing things in the world. I happen to be the black one. So he gave me some footage of what he was shooting, sent it in. Casting brought me in. I made it to the finals. I was selected. And this was during 9/11. People got to remember, I did Survivor 2001 in November.
Okay.
9/11 had just happened a month ago. So the country was on edge. We were on edge. And we were originally supposed to be in Jordan in the Middle East.
Oh, okay.
But 9/11 happened. So they last minute scrapped it and filmed it in the Marquesas.
Oh,
so
I
now
didn't know
we're
that.
in the Marquesas, trying to fit. The whole time, though, I'm thinking this is fake. Because I'm an actor. I'm like, oh, yeah, this going to be this the come up. I'll be on TV. They going to yell, cut, so forth and so on. And, I did the show. It did really well. I did really well. Each step of the way. I was the only contestant then, maybe even now. I don't know if they're still allowed to bring a Bible.
Oh, wait, hold up. I do remember that. No, wait. I want to ask you, well, you're telling the story right now, but you were the only one.
So I brought my Bible because my faith. Man can't live on bread and water, but by the word of God. And I go out there and I read my scriptures daily, and especially as I knew it started getting real. And my sister Vesepia and I, Vesepia won the season, first black person to win any reality competition, right?
Sure was.
And I came in 5th, which brothers back then were getting voted out real early.
Quick.
Right. So what kept us, people kept pigeonholing us together because of race. Yes, we black. Black people do that. But that ain't a guarantee, because all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And we're not a monolith. That's the part people don't know. They see black people. But we just happen to bond mainly because of our love of the Lord.
Right.
And so that's what took us through. And by the grace of God, the testimonies from the show and the experience were far greater than the money, the prize, and the variety. But we never got to focus on any of that, because as soon as our season was over, they act like she and I didn't exist, which is, God's plan. Sometimes God has to remove you from the things of this world.
Yeah.
So that he can do what he needs. So for me, I'll always look at it as a blessing.
Yeah.
I was selected.
You were
I have
selected.
no malice. I did have issues with the following years with how they strung me along, doing different things.
Right.
I never solicited to get back on. They would always come and get me, hey, fans. They knew what was up. They knew they started bringing back people. But I was like, whatever, man. If we're going to do this, let's do this. Because I'm still competitive.
Right.
And $1 million is still $1 million. Last time I checked. Last time that I checked. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Survivor was just a cog in the wheel of my life. Too many people make reality TV, and really these entertainment moments, the end all be all.
Right.
I'm a brother that been around way before that, and definitely after.
Right.
But that's when you know you're doing God's work, because when you go into obscurity, God takes you away from the things of this world, like fame, like money, like the need for attention, and quiets you. He did it to Moses.
Whoa.
And everybody who needed some alone time was gone for a minute.
Yeah.
And
for a minute.
And then when you reappear, people get to see how good God has been.
Woo! Okay, it's funny you say that, because you gotta remember, it was early reality TV. It really messed with my mind.
What?
After we got off, like you said, when we would go, we'll go different places, and like you said, when I first got off with Big Brother, actually, like you said, God takes you in places. I had to be quiet, because my mind was still like, why did I get voted off? I didn't know why I got voted off, and then I started contemplating, well, I wasn't good enough, you know.
Internalizing.
Yeah,
Wow.
internalizing stuff too much at that time.
Yeah.
So what you're saying right now is like, you don't know, you know, as of now, if there's a person that was on Survivor that did what you did.
Right.
Like, you know, carry your Bible.
Yeah.
Because I read the Bible every day too when I was in Big Brother. Because that was the only book we was able to have. Wow. I read it every day. Had other people reading it. Because it was like you said, that's all you had.
Yeah, right.
And you'd be surprised at how many people are like, are you reading the Bible? Or
well, I'm going to tell you, on our season, reading the Bible, like, even Boston Rob, who I'm really cool with now, but at the time, he was making fun of me and Vesepia, you know, just poking fun. And others probably didn't take it as serious.
Right.
And as the game went on, and you know them conditions get harsher,
right?
And you start looking like a real crackhead out on these islands because you ain't eating. Yeah, you ain't eating.
You seen your ribs?
Yeah, you like, wait, hold up. Oh, okay. So and then folks started to be like, so now what scripture? You know, we folks was okay with praying and I'm not saying everybody wasn't, but there was an energy. Spirituality became stronger and stronger as the material things, the food, the water, and the newness started to wear off. But you know, the acronym for the Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. I think RZA said that from Wu-Tang. But even if you don't want to look at it as a religious text, look at the Bible as a manuscript for life, a historical context of what to do, a how-to book, even if you're not the most spiritual. But,
Right.
But none of that, we were never able to, and I get it, they wasn't trying to push religion, but I just hated that everything surrounding me was just race, and it was negative. And, you know, I was getting death threats, and I couldn't understand. I was like...
When you got off the show?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, listen, there's an element of this country. We saw it on January 6th, right? That stormed the Capitol. There's, people want to say racism is over. It's part of the country. It is what it is. And my thing is there are elements, just saying everybody, but there are elements of this country that are very serious about the racial hierarchy.
Yes.
Not even understanding that it's a racial construct that's not real. But that said, if the system has backed this way of thinking for so long, who are you to come along and kind of stand on 2 feet and poke your chest? And the history of this country is, if you're a black man and you have any kind of confidence to speak up and speak your truth, the system has ways of coming for you to let you know we're going to bring you a few notches down. Yeah. And I'm not even saying standing and boasting on yourself. If we look at the Dr. Kings and the Malcolms, right? If we look at the Nipsey Hussles and the Tupacs, right? If we look at the Fred Hamptons of the world. And so I'm not saying all of us have that deep of a revolutionary spirit, but if you're on national TV and you holding your sister down, because everybody know me and Vesepia held each other down, and this is before hashtag Black Love and hashtag, there was no internet. This was just us showing love for each other, yet still being competitive. Like we were still playing the game.
Exactly.
And
but
so
you still had love for each other.
We still had, and still to this day, her son is my godson.
Okay.
I spoke to her a few days ago. Like the love, once the game is over, when it's real, it's real.
Exactly. It's real. It's real.
Yeah.
So go back to when you were on the show. Do you feel like, was your character already made for you? Or do you feel like you made the character on the show? Because now in reality TVs, I feel like they have these cut cards of this person should be on there, this person should be on there, this person should be on there.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that was the case back in the day when it was.
I think yes, just not with me. Okay. Because I spoke on it even when I was being casted. I said it to Les Moonves and everybody in cast. I said I'm not trying to come on here and be the stereotype. Because back then, every black dude on reality, from the Road Rules to Real World to whatever competitive show, was either voted out last, were viewed to be angry and lazy, right? Lazy. All the stereotypes. Now, mind you, you can say whatever you want, but the people with the editing power have the power to do whatever.
Yes, they do.
Right?
And they're able to create
whatever narrative.
The narrative that will also make people want to watch you more.
Right.
Watch the show more.
Watch the show, right. And so that can work in your favor because they want to watch you more and watch the show, but at what expense? If it's negative, now it's looking like that's how you are.
Yes.
As opposed to an edited segment of this episode.
Yes.
And if you're a teacher, if you're a cop, if you got family at home, you know, they looking at you sideways like,
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
sure
brother,
are.
what's going
What's
on?
going on?
Yeah.
That's not you.
That's
whatever.
not you, right? And you're like, oh,
Be like,
man, it's
well,
too much to
it
keep
was the
explaining.
edit.
Yeah. Even though it is you. And you don't want to blame everything on an edit. But
right, but I do agree with you when it comes to, you have to explain to them, it's the edits. And
Yes.
I say, and you had to be like, but that wasn't you. I said, hey, it's TV.
yeah, that's what you
And it's
signed
like
up for.
that-
And you don't know that.
Here's
That's
what
the
we
thing
say.
don't- Yeah.
We signed up for it.
But listen,
we did.
Like what we was talking about off camera, years later, we have the wisdom to know. Our sense of self.
Yeah.
Would we go on the shows? Yes. Would it be under a certain stipulations?
Yes.
Yes.
You
Right
mean now?
Yeah, now.
Oh,
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
definitely.
You and I collectively, and those of us who have
probably
gotten
been on that.
wiser,
Right.
we understand that back then we was, especially on Survivor, you signed your life
we
away.
signed our life.
Yeah,
Oh,
you signed them contracts, and it's whatever.
Oh, you're signing. There's a book. It's a book.
Right.
Come on, you know it is.
Right.
And you are so excited to
Yeah.
be on this show that you probably have dreamed about,
Yeah, yeah.
or that you have been like, I'm going to go on that show.
Right.
You know.
But also, let me throw this in. I think even if you didn't dream on these shows, everybody wants to be famous.
back then, you think?
I think
I'm gonna be honest with you, back then, I don't feel like a lot of people wanted to be famous like that.
here's the thing what I would say. I think today the means to be famous is everywhere. So everybody
Oh, yes,
I
definitely.
think people have always wanted to be famous. And I'll tell you this, not necessarily with the hunger and thirst it is now, but think about the history of Hollywood. The reason we have iconic movie stars, Marilyn Monroe, Shirley Temple, Sammy Davis Jr.,
Right.
take whomever. It gave people something to aspire. The red carpets and everything. There was a sort of nobility and royalty and
Right.
a thing where celebrities made you dream and made you kind of have fantasy. You know, it was the fantasy. So even if every person didn't want to be famous, being famous was a lot more. It had a lot more substance because there wasn't but a few networks and but a few stars.
Right.
Whereas now, everybody can make themselves a star by any means necessary. Even if it's doing the
necessary.
most foolishness, right? But the thing is, the currency today is attention.
Right.
I think there is a difference between wanting attention and wanting to be famous, or maybe they're both the same. But I just think back then, you have a show that says there's $1 million, you're gonna be on TV. Most people would jump at that,
Right.
Right? And you get on. And you're like, oh, and you don't realize because there is no coach. There isn't anyone to explain the aftermath of celebrity, fame. The mental state of what you just went through. They just kind of throw you back into society. And
throw
go,
you back.
next.
That's the key thing right there. Imagine getting thrown out there now with the social media versus when we got thrown out. We had to have a mental, like, hey, I'm trying to learn how to drive again. Like, just the mental, being out here with all these people, because we're in the house all summer, and you're like, whoa. And people like, can I get your autograph? It was crazy. Like, you're not used to that. Like you're saying.
Yeah.
But I signed up for it. I signed up for
Yeah.
it. And I had to learn how to navigate that, especially because I had to go back to work.
Right.
I was working, still in the entertainment industry. And I was just like, I can't imagine doing that right now. I'm just honest with you, I just cannot imagine doing that right now.
You know what? But look at this. You have a platform. Today, anybody can set up a camera, a microphone, and tell their truth.
Yes, they can.
Whether whoever watches it, back then, if they didn't put you on Rosie, The Morning Show, Howard Stern,
No, you
if you weren't on any one of them shows, you went right back to, there was no platform. It was you.
Yeah.
So I think the plus today is that the networks no longer have the unilateral power they once had. They still powerful, and it's still it is what it is.
Right.
But the great equalizers, we were talking about it off camera. X, right? People can go on Twitter and be like, "Well, this what really happened. This my version." Back then, your version was what everybody saw.
Exactly.
And then and then you went back to whatever. So I see pluses and minuses on both eras. I just think I'm glad we were able to come from an era where the social media wasn't out, so...
Well, it was for me.
Oh, that's right, for you. But I'm saying, that's right.
And for you, was it?
No, it wasn't no social media in 2001.
No, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
no.
Right.
It was emails. That's why the death threats I got was straight to my email.
Wow.
Like, nigga, we gonna kill you. Yeah, not N-word. Nigga, we gonna kill you.
Really?
Yeah. Listen, I ain't really trip on it. You know, it is discerning at first when you're like,
At first, you probably was like, whoa.
whoa, what?
And why?
Well,
did you ask the question why?
No, I'm not responding to nobody email like,
Oh, no, I'm not.
yeah,
Oh, no,
yeah,
I know
what
that.
you mean in my head,
In
like,
your
why?
head, though.
No, because I'm a student to this country.
Yes, you are, yeah.
Meaning, I already know.
You already know.
I already know, like, it's a country of, 400 million people?
I got you.
There's a lot of people sitting there waiting to be offended. So if you black, if you gay, if you short, if you liberal, if you a woman, there's a group of people ready to just ready to be like, why you exist?
Like you said, they be waiting. It's a group of them waiting, just waiting.
Uh-huh.
I said, golly, that's I always say, to be honest with you, I said, and this is just, hey, the fans of all these reality shows, they can be CSI or whatever because they dig up stuff. I'd be like, how are they even getting that? I mean, seriously, you gotta think about it. That's the information age.
Yeah.
But back to you on Survivor. Did you know before you got off? I mean, there was a culture change already when you got on there. When you got off of it, did you think wow, I did a reality TV show. I was the black male on this show. Did you feel like sometimes you were the token black male, or did you feel like, I'm gonna play this game no matter what? Like you said, you had a relationship, with our sister or whatever, regardless of the fact. But at the end of the day, when you got off the show, was you like, job well done?
Yep, 100%. Meaning, I mean, optics-wise, you go 16 white people, 2 black people. This is pretty much corporate America.
Okay.
This is pretty much any PWI.
Okay.
This is pretty much, unless you just all in black spaces your whole life.
Right.
When you out there, you're used to either being the only or one of a few.
Right.
So black folks and non-white folks are used to code switching and living in spaces where you have to constantly be social chameleons.
Yeah.
So once I saw that, I went to a boarding school, Milton Hershey School in the 80s.
Okay.
When it was majority white, but it was black people, Latinos, and Asians. But I'm a Harlem-born kid going inner city, going to this all-private white school in Hershey, Pennsylvania. That probably was the first time I had to play an unofficial game of Survivor, learning how to navigate, use street smarts, not be viewed like the New York Harlem kid, and but learning about myself in the process. And so I've had, my life, all of us, our lives prepare us.
Yes.
For these things that we have no idea that God has already laid out for us. We just got to go through it.
Right.
So by the time Survivor came on, I just pointed out the obvious at times, and I tried to use humor in terms of the racial dynamic. Here you have a social game for $1 million, but it's a social game in America, but you have 16 white people and 2 black people, and you go. You know what I mean? And so I get it, but under that context, our sister won, and I came in 5th. So it was doable because the tools that we've used in our everyday life, which is, learning to navigate spaces, sometimes having to, submerge part of who you are so others don't fully see. We know a lot of times we can't fully be comfortable. That's why, the proverbial cookout that black people always inviting people to. That cookout is where we kick up our feet and normally be ourselves. Right, 100%.
Right.
The good part of what we showed is that one must not relegate themselves to just that aspect of your life all the time. You're going to have to venture out and be in spaces where people don't know nothing about you. And better for you to try to represent the best of your people, your family, and yourself as best you can. And while still maintaining a healthy sense of self. But yeah, I'm proud of what we did on Survivor. And I know they've tried. The funny thing, here's what the gift and the curse of social media and what's happening now. Yeah, there's online bullies, but I tell you, the fans of the show, and I ain't saying all, but the ones who've reached out to me, the ones who've made it clear that they love me and Vesepia, they love what we stood for, and they not all black. I'm telling you, I get hit up all the time. People have no idea. I'll give you an example. Young white dude named Kobe hit me up on an email. I don't know this dude. Big fan of yours. I'm white from Louisiana. Gave me the rundown, said his father, he comes from a racist family, all kinds of stuff. asked me for advice. He's like, man, I know you work with young people. Just on an email.
Really?
I said, man, because I don't really respond, but God told me, I said, man, give me your number. Called him up, me and him chopped it up. Great young man. Great young man. I still haven't met him, but I'm giving that example to say
Wow.
how God uses me is beyond what race, but I am a black man.
Of
so a
course.
lot of times the things I say may be looked through other people's limited view, but the humanity side that God has put in me allows me to reach out to those who might be in need. So whatever platform and whatever the fans that were able to see me for who I was, for the humor, for the love, we brought back food. It was more than just talking about race on the thing. This is what the haters want to concentrate on. But I'm proud of what we did because despite producers and the networks not bringing us back, the fans remember our season and they remember what we stood for. And that's one of the beauties that social media has allowed the general public to have and not let the narrative just be by the producers, the hosts, and the networks.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I tell everybody all the time, but I love the fans, and I'm gonna tell you why. Like you're saying, I got black, white, just all races, rainbow of fans. I don't even look at them as fans. You know why? Like you're saying, I can pick and choose the battles that I would have to fight if I ever got bullied or anything on social media, whatever. And I can honestly say, when I got off the show, I had one incident when I got off the show that someone was trying to bully me on social media. I didn't have to shut it down. Guess who shut it down? The people who followed me and loved me for me.
That's
the
beautiful.
fans.
That's beautiful.
The fans.
But they did that on X or what?
They did it on Twitter. It was Twitter at the time. If you are your authentic self when you go on those shows too, people see that.
I agree.
They see it.
I agree.
Because I feel like, like you said, we both come from big shows, Survivor, Big Brother. I noticed the evolution of the shows have gotten up to par as far as how society is right now. So, like you said, social media is really keen on who goes on there each season. And, that's how they get their fans now because of social media. But I can honestly say, those same fans that are Big Brother fans and Survivor fans, they still show me love.
Yeah. I feel you.
They still show me love.
Yeah.
And I love that. And that's why I'm showing them love.
Yeah.
Because you know why? Because if it wasn't for Big Brother, I wouldn't be right here right now either. I'd be honest with you. I really don't think going to school and all that, I would have went to school and all that, but it was just that platform of being on a reality show that opened up a lot of doors for me to reach other people.
Yeah.
And like you said,
I'm going to go one step further. You would have, because it was already ordained. God already ordained it. You just didn't know that Big Brother was going to be part of the cog in the wheel.
Yeah.
So, yes, given that platform prop, but ultimately, we're going to give him all the credit.
Oh, yes.
Our lives is ordained if we stay faithful. And so just
faithful.
like the blessings come, there's also times in our lives where things don't make sense. And it'd be times when you look up and you're like, man, God, what's up? So the same when we have moments of being on these platforms of reality shows or you got a little bit of money, it's also them times in the road when you broke.
Whoa.
And your relationships has failed.
Oh.
And you by yourself.
Dark.
Dark.
It's dark.
And God is like, now, what we gonna do? You still with me? So
it's dark.
You
when we were getting off these shows back then, we would go to different people would fly us to do different
like fundraisers
and stuff like that. And so I think, we met at a fundraiser for, I think it was for pets. It was something in Virginia, right?
Yeah, Virginia.
And we was vibing all through the events and all that. But then come to find out, we were on the same plane.
Right next to each other.
Right, come on. Right next to each other. We didn't even know. We was like, wait a minute, what? Okay, so go ahead. Do you think being on Survivor and reality TV show, do you think it shapes the way people look at society now?
Yeah, I think Survivor definitely has had a impact on culture.
Okay.
And it's in the ways we look at people.
Right.
The dynamic of voting people out. It's like you build up this society only to kick people out. It just feels antithetical to what you would normally do when you build up a society to survive, right? As a whole.
Right.
You don't build up a society so you can be by yourself.
Right.
And the concept of survival is let's build a society so that ultimately I can be the only one left standing. So that concept, I don't think is really looked at, but I think definitely Survivor is a cultural phenomenon. The fans and the connection to the show is 25 years plus.
Yeah.
So I think the impact, people don't know that during COVID, many of us Black contestants put the networks to task. So this whole BIPOC thing wasn't BIPOC, it was B, it was Black. Like always, right? The civil rights. Right. And why I say that, no disrespect to no one else, is that many of the Black contestants, the new generation and the old school, even though it was two different factions, and there was a lot of, disagreeing, like Black folks, the civil rights, whatever. Right. But we collectively came together to hold the network and Survivor specifically to task because they have not been diverse. And this is part of the DEI people started talking about. We wasn't using no DEI.
I was going to say, y'all wasn't using it.
No, we was just like, y'all ain't got no Black. This Sal's famous. We want some Black people on this wall, Sal. It was like, do the right thing. Okay. But the bigger picture is when Black people talk about, we open the door for everybody else. So we don't always have to say, everybody. This is when we come through, we be like, shh, everybody here, come on. Right. So we had meetings. We wrote a letter on Juneteenth, sent it to the network. They responded, set up a date. We had a Zoom call with Jeff, the CBS president, CEO George Cheeks at the time, Kelly Call. It was like a bunch of bigwigs and a whole bunch of Black contestants. And everyone got to let the network know how we were discriminated or whether it was during the show, after, or editing, whatever. Everybody had their own story. And I Jeff looked shocked because you got to remember, reality show don't have unions. No. When do you ever get to, platforms are usually like those housewife platforms where you just spilling tea and stupid shit. Platforms where it's like, everything wasn't cool. And everybody got to express themselves. Wow. And the network set up 3 more meetings on Zoom. Okay. And the demands that we collectively had, it wasn't just one person, was that let's get some people of color behind the camera. All right. Okay. Let's make sure that, the shows that's why when you see the shows now, they look there's all kinds of people. Yeah. And when they finally pushed the initiative and put it out on the newswire, it said BIPOC, Black Indigenous people of color. Right. But it wasn't no Indigenous people of color on them calls putting risk in their names and reputations. It was Black people infighting, agreeing, loving, like we do.
Like we do.
Fighting for the bigger cause.
For the bigger cause, right.
And so now what you see is a more equitable show that's not as whitewashed as it used to be. Right. And it's all kinds of, like, you see more LGBT, you see a lot of people with different flags coming on. It is what it is. But I definitely think, but I've always said that. I was like, Survivor, you guys have the capability to change and show, because this is the one show, unlike other shows where it's outwit, outlast, outplay, but it's the basic instincts of humanity if you took away food and water. Mm-hmm. Like Adam and Eve. Y'all got us on an island saying, this social experiment, let's see what happens if we take people from all walks of life and say, go. Right. My thing is, and then eventually our collective thing was, you saying go, but it's like starting a race and you not even at the starting block, socially. Right. You saying go, but I'm seeing, damn, I got to make sure my Blackness is not too much, or that my whateverness.
You don't give me time to, when you say on your march, get set, go.
Right. Go for everybody is go. For me, I got to be like, let me think about how I'm going to go. That's a different game.
That's a different game.
That's what Sepia had to play. But for me, to your question, and just to put a ribbon on it, is that they've gotten better, and to their credit, a lot of reality shows have gotten better. And I think this is how you move the needle. Mm-hmm. But people have to realize there were those who came before you to help. And what I love about, and why I'm humbled by what you're doing with this, is that I've never wanted credit. I still don't want credit. And I'm in a collective. There's nothing I did. But there's not enough platforms or avenues to give credit for people who sacrificed. Yes. Who spoke up. And sacrifice sometimes mean being blackballed for speaking truth. Ooh. When you speak truth to power, people can kind of be on the sidelines and be like, And then when the air clear, be like, right on, brother, I agree with you. I just didn't want to say it at the time, but my man, right on. So, yeah, I'm glad of the mark we made. If they never call me, I told them, stop calling me. I'm 55. Y'all gonna wait till a brother look like Frederick Douglass and have my old ass like, hold on now, what's the name? What challenge? I'll be all serious. What the hell? Y'all got challenges? I ain't got no time for no goddamn challenges. Get this old Negro out of here.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, get him out of here. So I'm like, leave me the hell alone.
I got you.
There's other platforms
But
to do.
But I have to say though,
yes, sir.
These reality TV stars now, they're standing on your shoulders. You started the change, being on season 4. You was already that change. You was you on the show. Mm-hmm. You were that character, which was you. Mm-hmm. People are emulating that every season on different shows. Mm-hmm. They're trying to be somebody that they're not. That's what I see.
Yeah. I could see that.
So again, that is why I'm giving everybody their flowers too, because like you said, you are OG. We talked about, we OG. We might as well just and I'm proud. And I'm proud of it. Yes. I'm okay with it.
Me too.
I'm glad to have that title.
Yeah.
We're OGs of the reality.
Like you said earlier, double nickel. I was hanging out with Dreams, a brother named Dreams from Survivor, Russell Swan.
Yep.
Brothers, it's just folks, with everybody, but we was rooming, talking, so we hadn't got the really vibe.
We did not.
We was vibing.
We would see each other, hey,
brother, yeah. Come on, I see you.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Right, I see you, right. But see, even that's some old school brother love, meaning
every time we saw each other,
black men acknowledging each other. I see you.
Every time we would be across the room, I might be way over there. We would acknowledge. I see you. We saw each other everywhere we went. We was in Virginia.
I think in South Africa it's Sawubanu. I think that's I see you, you see me. It's a Swahili word. Okay. We can look it up. But meaning the universalness of brothers acknowledging each other and not hating, not having weird energy, but like, I see you. I see you. So when we got on the plane, you from Chicago, I'm from Harlem.
No, let's correct that. Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, remember?
All right. See, I wouldn't have remembered that. I just knew.
You knew it was Illinois.
I knew it was Illinois. I knew, right, exactly.
Champaign-Urbana, Illinois. Give it a shout out. Find the line now, okay? But, yeah.
But I knew you was Midwest.
Yes, yeah.
And we just started organically talking, and we got off that plane and solidified our brother.
We did. Yes,
and the good thing, the interesting thing is, no, we didn't do it for any reason other than just genuine love.
It was genuine love
for brothers, and
we stayed in contact for years.
Yeah.
Just plotting. Where you at? What you doing? What you doing?
Yeah. Keeping tabs.
We did.
And you know what I love? It's funny because I felt like on our season, John, who was, I guess they viewed him as the gay nurse, or the nurse that was gay, or however he was being billed. He at that time, there wasn't really a huge LGBT or representatives in the queer community. I know Richard Hatch won.
But the community wasn't big when I was on, even when I was back in the day. No, it wasn't.
It wasn't like it is now. Right, it was a huge gap. And but however it was going on in the reality world, what you represented to me was, I grew up in Harlem, and it was gay, number runners, hustlers.
You told me that. I remember.
Just whatever. The things you see movie about Harlem. That's why my mother was a dancer at Small's Paradise in the Savoy. Like, if you grew up in Harlem, your parents were at bars and lounges. So my little low self was in these grown spaces. My mother was a dancer. Right. Everybody was gay or whatever. So and
them were your uncles. How about that?
And I grew up where a gay man will still whoop your ass.
Yes.
Like just what I'm saying is, and not just like, who are you gay, but just like the disrespect.
But that wasn't in your mind.
Nah, you just don't. If you're gonna be disrespectful, it might come with an ass whooping. Just letting you know.
Right.
So you reminded me of the
old school.
Oh, there it is. We talked a lot about old school.
We did. We
grew up in the same age range and the same time frame, and so it was just really good to know. Because I find that a lot of our LGBT brothers and sisters sometimes push that than blackness. Like what I'm saying is there's nothing wrong, but I grew up reading and learning and in the same community as James Baldwin.
Yes.
Langston Hughes.
Yes.
Zora Neale Hurston.
Woo-woo.
Bayard Rustin. Right? These are black people that happen to be gay, but were more vanguards of pushing the culture forward. So for me, and again, no one has to stand on a soapbox, but to me, I sometimes, when I can smell agendas, I get real quiet and introspective. When I can sense genuine humanity, then I really want to rock with you. Like, then when we self-disclose, whatever comes out about us is just extra to know who we are. I knew that the love that we have for each other was genuine. Everything that we shared after was just the feelings of what made us Lawon and Sean.
Yeah.
And the shit rhyme.
You know what? Okay, but okay, but wait. But that's interesting that you say that, because I've always felt, and I've always rocked with everybody. I rock with everybody. Right. And it doesn't have to be, okay, and you brought up a great point. Okay. It doesn't have to be said that I'm part of that community.
Facts.
It doesn't have to be said.
Right.
If it's mentioned, you're like, oh yeah, what you like you said, I'm talking to him. I'm like, oh, that's it. Oh, well, yeah. You won't even say, I didn't know that, or
right.
But hey, you know what I mean? Like,
I ain't know that.
I mean,
yeah, that's
but, but now I'm just talking about. But now, but my point is, he's him. At the end of the day, that's part of him.
Yeah.
But I rock with him because he got the knowledge. He got the.
Yeah.
I've heard so many conversations with people that always ask, "I didn't know you were gay or whatever." I'm like, but they be like, "But that's not part of his DNA like that. It's not even."
You know what's funny? I always think even saying that, like,
you know what I mean?
I didn't know. Like, to me, I don't know. I'm just old school. You don't just ask. It's like
it's old school
because even like
it's the old school in us. I think
that's what it is. Because we grew up where
we had uncles and aunts.
Right.
We had an uncle. Wait, we had an uncle. Here we go. I'm being honest with you.
Come on.
We had an Uncle Pat and an aunt. Come on, man. We had an Uncle Pat and an Aunt Peaches and all that. Come on, we knew that.
Yeah.
They coming to the house with their friend. With their friend. We're growing up in that environment.
Yeah. And nobody knew what friend. That was just auntie and them friend. But it may not or whatever.
It may not.
Kids, you just know that's the lady next door that come by
right.
sometimes or whatever. But
now, I think now it's like you're saying, now it's more in your face. It's like, yeah, there's that, then comes this.
You know what? Here's a good analogy.
Okay.
Remember when Will and Grace was on the air?
Yeah.
I often thought, what made that show successful is that Will's gayness didn't, and I ain't watch it a lot. I ain't really watch a lot of network shows, but I always wondered, I watched it a couple of episodes, and maybe a few more, but it was just, Will was just a dude who happened to be gay.
That's it.
The show didn't emphasize a lot of times. It didn't
emphasize that he was gay, did it? It didn't emphasize
but
that.
When black people are on TV and they're gay, gayness is like
emphasized.
Let's emphasize his sexuality rather than him.
Whoa.
Like who he is. If he happened to be gay and his boyfriend or husband come on, how you doing?
Why do you think it's?
But because that's part of media, right? Pushing narratives. But also, it gives us our cues to be like, oh, I ain't know you was like
look, I can see you're like
come on, man. It's like we grew up in an era where just stop acting like a. Right? It wasn't about sexuality. Just
it wasn't.
So if you was gay, straight, it was just, dude, you acting like whether it was said or implied. It was, it was like, it was just like, just stop acting like, just stop. Whatever.
We just talked about that. Yeah, you doing too much.
You're doing too much. So, but again, I feel like now that we're more in the politically correct era, things are more, there's a lot of fakeness and there's a lot of surface passive aggressive energy. Whereas back in the day, people said what they felt and they felt what they said.
And that was it.
And that was it. And you knew, they knew, and it was whatever. And I get it, especially when you're on platforms. But I think maybe what resonated with me when I did is that I've always been this guy.
Right.
Meaning I was.
You never have changed who Sean is.
This who
have
I
you
am. I got kicked out of class. Matter of fact, it might seem cool and cute, but particularly for all my little black boys out there who they want to label you, IAP, he can't sit still, this Negro joke too much,
right.
all this stuff.
You was like that too?
Yeah, that's why I started my programs later for boys, because I understood, particularly, again, black boys.
Okay.
We're always faced with the question of how does it feel to be a problem?
Really?
And it's not always asked, but when it's implied. Like, meaning from the eyes of law enforcement, from the eyes of teachers,
right.
from the eyes of society that says, from Ike Turner to Puffy, like to R. Kelly, we always got to survive somebody, it's just some new show about a black man.
Right.
So it's just the narrative of like black men and black boys a problem. To me, without understanding the verbiage back then, I felt it. I went to a white private boarding school, but I also went to all them Harlem schools, and we had some really racist teachers. But I'm just saying that this country wants us to believe that, like James Baldwin said, you want me to believe what my eyes are telling me is not. You want me to believe what you say when your actions say opposite. Meaning, I would like to be in a society where none of this matters, but man, stop and frisk. Brother, I was pulled out my house by 10 cop cars in my drawers. Talking about I look like I robbed. I was sitting there watching TV with my son and get out there, come on. I'm like, what? My son was like, Dad, man, I come out, it's like a squad. I'm in my drawers. I'm like,
ow, what?
Tell me to come out, get on my knees. Nobody's saying nothing. And then all in the neighbors is out. I'm like, the hell? They tell me, and the one cop, all kinds of like, nigga, crawl, they're like Bull Connor. I'm like, and it's funny because my son had to record. I'm looking at my son with tears in his eyes. I'm looking at this. And when you get to our age, you kind of tired of the shit. So I'm looking, I'm like, I ain't crawling. Now, not that I want to die, but I ain't crawling.
Right.
So then I had to do like a bear type crawl, just whatever. And then they handcuffed me and nobody's saying nothing. Then finally an older cop, I was like, the fuck? What, oh yeah, there was a robbery. I'm in my house.
Right.
Anyway, short story long, it happened to be my neighbor. Now, mind you, the neighbor, here's the description. The neighbor was Mexican dude, young teenager. I fit none of those boxes.
No.
So why I'm sharing that, of the many I could sit here all day and explain like many brothers, is that our reality in America means that on any random day, what I just described could happen and you won't even know it. Because the next day I went to work, I ain't say nothing to nobody except for the young men in my program to let them know I'm still here. Last night, I almost lost my life.
Whoa.
And that's why when fathers talk to their sons about 10 and 2 when you drive and have paperwork ready. So our reality, the collective experience of who we are, we bring on these shows. A show called Survivor, how am I not going to bring my survival instincts on Survivor? I'm going to be me.
Yeah, you are.
Now, but in the context of the show, I still got to know how to play this game for that prize. Right. In real life, the prize is life. Whoop! I need to live so I can come home. Whoop, whoop. So I got to know when I'm at work if there's, they call them Karens now. I wish we'd have had that term with Carolyn Bryant when she said Emmett Till whistled at her. But what I'm saying is sometimes we in hostile workplaces and people don't even know what we're going through because we're the problem. So what I'm saying is, and by no means am I a victim.
Oh, no.
And I just saying that, but what I'm saying is strategies on life have to be based on reality.
Yes.
And our reality, when we try to express it, people always try to negate what we're saying. But somehow, reason I referenced January 6th, because that was the epitome of angry white men, right? Okay. So when white men get angry, they get to storm the Capitol or whatever. We see what's going on in the news. Right. And it's looked at as patriotic and your rights. Right. When we do it, it's why you so angry and why so we gotta buck and jive and shoe shuffle and make sure everybody's comfortable, which is why many of us go home and just have to make a decision do I want to end my life? Because I'm depressed and nobody understands. Because this alcohol ain't cutting it no more. Because this weed I'm smoking, I done weeded my brain out. Yeah. So now we got to, even before Survivor, because I toured the country with Periwinkle National Theater doing theater for children, teaching the dangers of smoking.
I want you to get into all that. I got you.
So I'm just using that as reference to say, even before Survivor, like my whole thing, God has used me to touch the lives of people who may not see themselves. And ironically, many of them are not Black.
That is amazing to me. Okay, so I want to ask you, aside from Survivor, going into what you are doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about what you're doing now, your program, and what it's for, what it stands for. Okay. Why are you doing it, and what do you want to see in the future for your program?
So thank you for asking. It's funny because I don't post much about what I do. You got to go to our website, right? Reason I say that is because I feel like doing God's work is such a sacred thing that in the day and age where people are screaming for attention to be seen, I feel like God's work is so sacred, you almost got to do it so covert because the devil and his minions are looking for those of us who are out here really making change. Right. But I started this program when I was in the classroom teaching. I was a head basketball coach. And after school, now I'm a New York boy in South Central LA, right with the East Coast, West Coast beef was popping. I coach these boys. I have to understand LA and the different hoods and who's a Blood, who's a Crip, who's a it was too much.
And why do we have to do, okay.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but I feel you, the why, but then the side of me that understands cultures that you gotta ask that why with respect. Meaning, so if you're not from LA, or just like if you come to New York, why y'all man, son, wherever you go, you can ask questions, but
you gotta respect it.
So that's I understood that. Okay. By understanding these young men in the community I was in, though the gang thing, I understood because take gang out of it, take the word gang, it's your family. So I understand that's your family.
That's your family.
Might look at the gang connotation.
That is your family.
So I had to get a lot of permissions from OGs and because I'm zigzagging from the rolling 60 to the jungle to I'm New York. I'm just dropping kids off from basketball practice.
And they're like, "What you?"
They look who this? I'm like, "Hey man, hey, I'm his teacher. I coach."
Oh my God!
Yeah, I was the original Coach Carter before the movie.
Okay,
and so those young men turned into the program, Boys to Men Enrichment Program, and eventually became my nonprofit, which is the TYME Foundation. The TYME Foundation is TYME. It stands for Teaching Young Men Excellence. And while I was in the classroom, I did it for like maybe 10 years while I was in the classroom after school in a room. Not a lot of support, but a lot of young men, like 40, 50 young men after school in a classroom with no windows. Yeah, here's the thing, man. Even though I'm humble, I got to put this out. Like, for my people in South Central, they know Mr. Rector because God selected me to be in this community to do the work that people from that own community maybe couldn't or didn't want to do.
They couldn't do it, or like you said,
but for me, and I wasn't.
You were placed.
I was
Remember,
placed.
You were placed.
Right, and me thinking I'm coming to LA for my acting career. I'm like, well, I'm doing this South Central. I got dreams too. Come on, God, I won't get on the show. He's like, yeah, all right. So I end up, and then a couple of brothers came on. We started, getting people to kind of help. Long story short, we turned it into the nonprofit, and 25 years later, we're still here. The difference is within the last 10 years, we've been contracted to work in schools like an elective each week at anywhere from 10 to 15 different schools.
That's so good, man.
Now, I will tell you this. Here's the difference, though. I almost liked it more when we didn't have an extra set of eyes. Because when you doing revolutionary work like changing the lives of young black and brown young men in terms of that's revolutionary. Like it ain't like, and another thing, the white man, it ain't always
not that.
It's the little day-to-day things where you planting seeds. That in itself is what got Fred Hampton killed at 21. See, he had the platform of the Panthers, already had the FBI going. Y'all, and all they was doing was feeding the community, medical, right? Child care, breakfast, all these things. So what I'm saying is those early days, it was a lot because the boys wanted to think about after school is afterthought. Who's hanging out after school? Right. And here I am in a room with all these boys from different hoods. Right. We would play basketball. We would read the autobiography of Malcolm X. We teach them how to tie ties. Right. But all of that came from teaching them how to love each other. Like taking the love that I get that you from that gang.
Oh, yes.
But I want you to love yourself because here's our culture. And I want you to learn about that Latino dude and him learn about you because y'all got to live together.
Yeah.
We already fighting each other amongst our own, and we already get that, you know, raza and you go back to all of that. But I might need some milk tomorrow. I might need you to watch my kids. This is why that's my story growing up in New York. My Dominican babysitter, my niñera, may she rest in peace, is in the 70s. My single parent mom, black lady taking care of, you know, cranky old black lady. My mama was late, and she was like, you gonna have to find somewhere else. You late, you know, just went off on my mother. And my mother had no options. And Camela Pollo, down the hall from where we lived in the Bronx, she spoke no English. Her son Nelson said she was, and abuela, called abuela, which is grandma.
Grandma.
Yeah, she took care of me, you know, for like from 3 to 6 or however, you know, for 3 to 4 years in my youth. I was bilingual. You know, I was in
¿Cómo
both.
te llamas tú?
Canelo, mi nombre es Canelo, porque cuando yo estoy un niño y mi madre fue al colegio, ella me dejó con mi niñera Canela Pollo.
Sí, me llamo Juan.
Juan, y yo me 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm always playing.
No, but yeah.
But I'm just saying.
But you was bilingual.
I was fluent, and my black cousins used to tease me all the time.
Of course
so I felt,
they did.
Yeah, they me llamo Sean Rector whenever I came back to Harlem.
Right.
When I was, you know, not in the Bronx. So anyway, I'm saying that to say that growing up in New York, because New York is definitely, the landscape is different than LA. LA is very segregated because it's geographically bigger.
Right.
But also it's divided, you know, church gang, divine nine, divine no none. Take your pick. Seems like everybody like, who you with? It's like, I don't know how you doing? I ain't with nobody. But, and I'm not saying it's just LA, but I'm saying the difference between these two big cities. My growing up in New York was that community was whoever was in your community.
Your neighbor was your aunt.
Right. But everybody in the community.
School.
Right.
We talk about if you was doing something wrong on that block over there, they would. Yeah. Sean got a whooping from Aunt Deborah.
And everybody knew
Deborah.
Right.
Well, that's the neighbor down the street. But she was able to whoop you because guess what? It was a community. They were family.
Right. But even along racial and cultural lines in New York specifically, you got Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, West Indians, you know, foundational Black Americans, which is a new term. We just said Black folks. But whatever the term we're using, we grew up and it was your community. And that was the basis of hip hop. Hip hop was born in the Bronx. Obviously invented and primarily ran by Blacks and curated. But you was still in a community where it's like you made it work. You might have had some, you know, habichuelas, arroz con pollo, and then fried chicken wing, and then the Chinese, let me get some pork fried rice with the 4 wings extra hard. Let me get them oxtail. Like, you all over the place with culture. And so I wanted to bring that sense of community to these boys. When I was teaching them, I'm like, if we're going to learn Malcolm, we're going to learn Che Guevara. If we're going to learn Cesar Chavez, we're going to learn King. But more than just the iconic, it's like teaching boys to be like, the main thing you want to do is make sure you bond with somebody that got the same amount of respect for you as you have for them. Stop thinking all skin folk is kinfolk, and stop going along cultural lines. Yes, be proud of your culture.
Be proud now.
Be proud of everything. But also part of our downfall is that we let our guard down when we become everything all Black. And then if you look historically, it's been people that look like us that have either been brought us down, assassinated us, or been, you know, when you look at what happened to Fred Hampton, to Malcolm, to Nipsey, like I can go on, Pac, and these are assassinations, not even assassination, not even character in that assassination. At least, you know, when they physically going, I'm talking about the day-to-day drama when you at work with a brother and you think this is your brother and this dude stabbing you in your back, or you think you and this sister are cool and she, you know, she the op, as my son and them would say. And so I'm like,
you got to get all that lingo. Like, what y'all saying? You ate that, uncle? I said, what do you mean ate? You know, that means that you look good. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
what?
You got to get it in. The op, I know that. Yeah, it's another word, but I'll think of it in. But the reason I say that is because when you about God, see, the culture of God supersedes all of this. So before Black, white, and brown, you be like, all right, who's good and who's evil? And when you can have discernment for who's good, if they happen to be Black, that's extra. That's like, my brother. And that's what me and Vesepia and I's connection, we was Black, but the foundation was our love for the Lord. And for me, I've never been a follower.
Never.
I'm a loner by nature. And I vibe with who vibe with me.
I never thought you was a introvert. But as I see how you move, you are. You are.
Yeah.
Now that you're saying that.
Yeah.
But you got a program to help these boys, man.
Yeah.
These young men.
20,000 young men.
How many?
20,000.
What?
Since 2000.
Okay.
Since year 2000 to now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like 19,000 something, but I just rounded up.
Okay.
It's just like you start counting.
Wow.
But why I say that is because thousands and thousands, because for me, it was the program and the kids in my classroom.
Okay.
So when we talk about touching lives, it's thousands. But with our program, it was them struggle years. You know, we turned it into a nonprofit, but them struggle years where you just doing the work and you're like, why nobody's donating? Why nobody's helping? Why nobody chipping in? Every year we go down to Skid Row and the families, we feed hundreds of homeless people because part of our city.
Showing them that.
Yeah, we were showing it with no pictures, no cameras. We wasn't uploading nothing.
No.
To me, it was part of the program.
You being present.
To teach the boys in the program, and then you got parents cooking on, and this is Thanksgiving morning. You could be with your family. We like, nah, we gonna be with these families. We did that for years, over 20 years of doing that kind of. Reason I'm using that, and not even to bring it up, but to say these are the kind of things we were instilling, yet it was still hard to get support. You know, a lot of times when you work in the community and you doing grassroots, you're competing with the poverty pimps. There's a lot of poverty. There's people that run programs that they suck up all the funds and money and who they know.
Right.
And those who are doing the work get stuck with, well, do you got this paperwork? And who's on your board? And you didn't turn in this paper. You know, you're like, I'm just doing the work. You know, I'm doing what God told Noah to do. Told him to build the ark. Noah didn't know nothing about cubits and how much this measure. He picked up a hammer and told his sons, we got work to do.
Right.
Build the ark. Just be obedient. And when you being obedient, you ain't got time to be responding to everybody's specifics. It's like, I'm here every day in the hood that I don't even live, helping change these boys not kill themselves. And you asking me if my bylaws, what they, you know, and I get it. I'm not saying I get it, but when you the person rolling up your sleeves, that's why you like, man, can somebody else come and help get me right? Because if I'm Noah building this ark, I ain't got time to also be, you know, at the holding off the enemy and you know, I mean, so I say that because all of this, while I was fighting for custody of my son, personally, it was rough, man. I'm in LA, no family. You know, my son's mother and I broken up, and I ain't gonna go too much into that, but it was the pursuit.
He's in a dark place, huh?
The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. That was basically me and my son. That movie is like, I can't, like anybody, I can't not cry watching it, but going through those dark personal days while still having to show up for these young men. Like, I ain't no days off.
You don't got no days off?
Yeah, still showing up. So I feel like God was testing me, my obedience, and I had nobody to share, because when I'm from Harlem, you grow up and it's like, I'm gonna be fly. And no disrespect to you. So when people see that you look good, feel good, in their mind, you ain't going through nothing. As a matter of fact, I need to hate on you more, not knowing
life is life, and they don't know that.
I look fly with this hat, and my bank account is overdraft. I'm negative 50, but I look good. But I look good.
Don't even have a half a tank of gas. Getting in the car, but I look good.
But we look good. Even that's a form of revolution, because black men, us dressing up was our way of negating the negative stereotypes of society, of especially now with sagging and just whatever. I'm not disrespectful, but in terms of even after World War I, brothers wearing uniforms to show the uniform showed I fought for my country, I looked good, and still lynched and hung. To me, those dark years, trying to figure out career and life, and I'm watching all my friends get on shows, talk about surviving. I'm like, I just wanted to get back on, to get that bread. I felt like I had a good chance of winning. And so I'm watching friends, I just get this. And I'm like, man, God, I'm still in the hood helping community. And I got to get this little boy a ride. And then
I got to get him breakfast, because he ain't got
breakfast. And then my place was robbed. I lived in Lamert Park, man. And them dudes.
Get out of here.
My next door neighbors, a bunch of, Negroes with no
You gotta
purpose.
be kidding me.
Yeah, they be knowing your schedule.
Of course they do. Yeah.
And I'm coming home with my son on some Pursuit of Happiness every day, tired. And I came home one day and my house was ransacked. They done stole, ransacked, messed up. And I was in a dark space. And I looked down at my son, because I knocked on the door. And I had a little piece on me, but it wasn't registered. I had a little something just to make sure. And, I'm legit now. I got my permit, all that. But I'm saying as a young man
As a young man in the hood,
that'd be like,
yeah.
And all I saw was me going to that place. And then I looked at my son and he was looking, and it hit me like, man, I grew up without my father. I'm going to be in jail. Just all these thoughts. I was like, man, I ended up calling the cops. My man came over and helped me kind of. But I'm giving some of those examples because there was so much happening to me personally, but I still showed up as Mr. Rector.
Okay.
I still showed up with people with the same laughter, same energy. Maybe I wasn't perfect all the time, but generally, I knew that God had me on assignment. And so, I continued to push the program until we were able to finally, get into schools and secure some contracts. And, we ain't rolling in though by no means, and nor are we rolling with the means we need. But I'm going to be 55 this year.
No, you ain't.
This is my double nickel.
Me too.
Come on, man.
Double nickel.
And we fire signs. I thought you was going to say nickel. Nickel. I was like, oh, you better edit this. Nickel. Yeah, the double nickel.
Me and you.
We 71 babies.
Wow, man. I didn't know that.
And you a Sag and I'm a Leo. That was another reason.
We balanced that.
Yeah.
We balanced it.
Yeah.
I mean, we balanced it, Why are you so quiet about what you do? You quiet because you before you even start talking about you was like, I'm kind of quiet about, my.
Yeah.
Why?
It's a couple of reasons. I feel like humility has its space.
Okay.
But I also feel like people are not genuinely happy for you. That's why, even with social media, I feel like
you're not even on.
I am on it, but I'm just saying
because you don't have that first.
Yeah, I'm on it, but okay. I'm selective.
You're on
it. A few
Look,
posts.
You're on it.
I'm on it, but not. But what I'm saying is that I just don't feel like. I feel like
you don't need to have to boast it out. Is that
I don't need nobody's validation.
Okay, but that's okay.
Yeah, my validation comes from God.
Okay,
and then but I also feel like when you talk about things that celebrate you, like your kid's graduation, or you might have hit the number. It's something as little as, girl, I hit the number today. Right. People would be like, all right, nigga, okay. So what you think? Okay, you hit the number. And so that kind of energy, not say that's everybody, I just feel like because social media can give off a facade that life is all good, there's a lot of unhappy people using social media to compare their lives
to everybody.
And for me, I'm like, I ain't comparing myself or my life to them. I'm comparing my life to where my life was.
Whoa.
I always compare to where I could have been and where I was.
Whoa.
So kind of being on the low with family and accomplishments, I just feel like if approaching 55 is going to give me my health, there's brothers our age, especially black men, colon, cancer, all of that, right?
I had to be honest with you. These last couple 4 years, I said 4, a lot of us are going. They're gone.
Yeah.
So like you said, celebrating 55, I'm going to celebrate this year so hard because a lot of my people didn't make it. My brothers, I'm talking about brothers.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the brothers did not make it.
Yeah. No. And we
have to celebrate it. Me and you got to celebrate it. We got to celebrate it. And that's why I want you to be on here because, I know we have a relationship from Survivor and Big Brother, but it's more to you being an icon than that. Because to me, you are an icon, but you're an icon because of what you're doing in our community.
Thank you.
That's why I want to give you your flowers.
Thank you.
Because you're doing that. You're doing that right now. But I want to piggyback on what you said about when you first moved here because my journey was like it's like yours too. I think that's why we clicked so good because I had some situation working for an entertainment studio, and I got like you said when I came here, I lived in Inglewood. I never forget, and catching 2 or 3 buses because you just first now working here. I'm getting up early in the morning. Now you got to remember where I'm living now, and. There were, like you said, you got to respect where you live and where you go.
Facts.
Yeah, they're younger than me. They were probably my nephews' age. I'm walking the corner. It's a bunch of people at the corner. It's dark because it's morning.
Right.
And I was like, oh, man, okay, what's going on? I'm dressed, and you know how I dress.
Yeah.
I'm coming out from the apartment, fly, with a hat on, cocked to the side with confidence.
Yeah.
And these young brothers going to say, what's up? Where you ride? You know me. This is morning now. This is morning, and I'm getting ready to go.
That's hilarious.
Try to, make my money, make a living.
Mm-hmm.
And I look, seriously, man, you got to think about this. Like you said, respect. Because it's like, man, first of all, why y'all come to me like that? Not only that, y'all don't even know who I am. But we can't do that because we're not even from here. I'm not from.
Right.
So I looked at, I'm serious. They could have jumped me. I'm going to be honest with you, they could have jumped me. And I looked around at all of them. It was a circle of them.
Yeah.
I said, man, I'm going to work. I said, I don't know what y'all been doing out here all night. But no, I do know what y'all been doing all night. But I'm going to tell you this.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to go to work. And guess what? Y'all going to watch me go to work because I'm riding the bus.
Yeah.
That was my.
No, I feel
And
you.
guess what?
What?
All right, man. All right.
All right, cool. Yeah.
Do you know the next day, the next morning, day after that, some of them will be the ones walking me to the bus stop because you know why? They wanted to hear knowledge. All they wanted to do was hear knowledge to talk about life or whatever.
Right.
I don't care what they was doing.
Yeah.
But they would walk me to my bus stop, man.
Yeah.
Every morning from that point on because they saw what I was doing.
Yeah.
And
now, can I cut you up real quick? Just to add on to this story, people who don't know LA, especially in the late 90s, early 2000s, like the buses was no joke.
Yeah.
If you was on bus getting around, folks was like, this brother must be going somewhere. Because ain't nobody getting on no buses and that transfers.
You come from New York, I'm coming from DC.
Yeah.
We transportation.
Yeah, we are.
It's on it.
It's on.
But
it's
not in LA.
Not in LA, no.
Man, I'm doing 2 or 3 buses.
Not only 2 or 3, but when you get on, it feel like feel like Ellis Island with homeless and gang bang. And you in your suit and you trying not to touch.
Right.
You know, it's just crowded. It's kids. You like, damn. But then you run in. So, but I'm saying that because the audacity we had to take the bus to get where we had to get allowed for God to use us. And because I have several of those moments you just said, but I think what carried us was that God knew we were being tested in those moments. Meaning, you getting up to take few buses. let me throw a couple of brothers in your way before you to see if this LA thing gonna work out for you.
That's what.
Because you could have easily been, I better leave. This ain't it, you know.
Right.
So anyway,
I say that story to say, they take to change their the mindset to the fact they was there celebrating when I graduated from.
They was there.
Oh, they was in there. Yeah, they was there. But my point is, and they had kids. My point is, don't judge a book by its cover.
Right.
I was going to work trying to make it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But these brothers right here, they would escort me to bus stop. But I say that to say,
Bus Chronicles.
Yeah, Bus Chronicles. Right. I say that to say to the narrative of we have came a long way.
Praise God.
Me and you have came a long way. What would you tell your younger self today, the way your journey is going right now? Mm-hmm. What would you tell your younger self?
A few things. I would tell my younger self to have faith. I've always had faith, but when you're young, you worry.
Right,
a lot. So they're like, bro, don't worry. It's not much because I wouldn't be where I'm at if I changed anything. But I think wisdom-wise, I do it every day in my work when I'm talking to young people. So I always feel like I'm talking to my younger self on my daily work. So it's everything from having patience to prioritizing mental health, to physical health, to I've always been one to check up on people. I'm like you get flowers. I'm a flower giving dude. Like real. Like I used to give my mother flowers, aunties, and my girlfriends. I just randomly, hey, even my lady. I showed up at her job with big bouquet just for no reason.
Yeah.
Oh girl, it's kind of a little embarrassing, but it's just I believe in affection and not always got to be public displays, but I would tell my younger self that it's gonna be okay.
Wow,
it's gonna be okay. I didn't have a father. Mm-hmm. I'm only child to my mom. Right. Even though I got a big family, big black family. Uh-huh. It's easy to go through the world with insecurities. Yeah, you black. Right. You ain't the tallest. You ain't the most fit. You ain't got the most money. It's always the deficiency. But then, when you know whose you are, and I grew up in the church, I was an altar boy. you don't know when you're young that God is weaning you for something great. You just know you getting ass whoopings.
Right.
You just know life is difficult.
Right.
You just know you feel misunderstood.
Right.
There's just so much going on. So oh man, I just got back from Ecuador. Can I tell you about that?
Yeah.
So Survivor 50 didn't pick me. They had me a whole year doing tests and stringing me along like they always did, right? They be doing this bullshit. Vials of blood. You know what they do? I was like, I want my blood back, by the way. Y'all out there. Y'all got 7 vials of my blood. On some OJ, dropping my droplets somewhere. Like, Sean Rector's at a casino or something. I'm like, what's in my house? So, but anyway, they put me through a whole year to survive it. But so nobody knew except my family. Right. So I really only wanted to do 50, the $1 million, but also my 9-year-old daughter and my children.
Okay.
Overall. And I was like, wow, they never got to see dad all these years. Everybody and their mama, they've been on 2, 3, 5, take that. And I don't compare myself. I just damn, I just wanted one so my children could be like, Hercules, that's my daughter. That's my daddy. That's my daddy.
Right.
So, the whole year I had to put my summer on hold. It was all this shit, contract, only for them to be like, yeah, what they did to me on All-Star. They drugged me along and was like, we ain't going. At least this time they told me, but it was still bullshit. But I told my son, I really just need some alone time with God. Like, Survivor is whatever. It ain't even what it used to be. I don't care about being on TV like that. I was like, but I wanted to use them to get me out the country so I could talk to God.
Really?
Yeah, that's why my son only wanted to know that. So when I didn't get picked, I was like, man, our summer plans, because we had to put everything on hold.
Right.
Brother named Spencer Bledsoe, he was on Survivor. He's one of them iconic Survivor dudes, white cat, cool dude. He changed his name to Ryman. He's been on a spiritual journey, moved out the country in Latin America. Yeah.
Okay.
So I get a call from him saying, because they did the same thing to him. A lot of people that didn't get picked really didn't like the process. They just kind of messed over a lot of people, like they do. They just kind of whatever. We did it and what. So he has a production company. So he hit me up and was like, yo, we're doing a show and we'd like for you to be part of it. Okay. And I was like, okay, what is it? He was like, well, talked about plant life, plant medicine. What do you know about plant medicine? I was like, well, I smoked weed back in the day. Back in the day, not now. That's plants. Right. And the brother, that's I don't know where you going with this plant stuff. So he said, nah. He said, what do you know about ayahuasca? I was like, I heard of it. Celebrities talking about ayahuasca, but I'm like, I don't. He's like, yeah, we're gonna be shooting down in Ecuador. Okay. I was like, okay. I was like, I'll tell you what. Let me get back to you. Because, I need to know. I said, the last time black people followed white people in the jungles, they drank the Kool-Aid and then come back. I said, I know history. Jim Jones said the same shit to black people, like, what y'all know about plant life? And nobody came back. So I went and prayed on it. And I came back and said, all right. We worked out, the details. Right. Man, I went down to Ecuador for 2 weeks with 10 former Survivor contestants in December.
Really?
Yeah. And we shot 2 weeks. It's an 8-episode series on plant medicine.
Really?
Yeah. And these are some iconic Survivor figures. Okay, I was the OG, me and John. Okay. John from my season. Right. And John is older than me. He's 60. I was 54 last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we out there. And it was cool because John and I, because from our season, we were nemesis. Right. So now, that's my brother. We've always been cool. The show just showed what they showed. Yeah, me and John always be cool. But anyway, we out there. And ayahuasca is a root that's used for spiritual ceremonies in places like Peru, in Ecuador. Okay. And it takes you to the realms. Okay. That we remember in the Black Panther when he went to go speak to his father. Yeah. That realm. Whoa. So they call it the abuela root because it's a feminine root. Okay. And it's a shaman. Okay. With ceremony and all of this. Okay. And the reason I'm bringing that up, and it brought me back to the spiritual thing with God, is that, one, my prayer came true. God was like, I ain't putting you on that show or that Survivor 50. He's like, you wanted time alone with me? Let's go to Ecuador.
Whoa.
Went down. Beautiful. Mary from season, I think, 48. Corinne. Obviously John, the brother Ken. It was just a lot of really cool cats that we met. But the ayahuasca route, brother. And so the director, when she was interviewing, was like, I'm curious as to how you feel, because you talk about God and you pray a lot and you're about this life of praying. How does this ceremony of ingesting this spiritual thing, I was like, it don't. Because in the Bible, damn near every chapter talks about herbs.
Right.
God provided herbs and plants for us to eat.
Right.
So there's nothing sacrilegious about partaking in things of the earth.
Right.
I said, plus, who am I to judge indigenous people that have been using this plant from the earth for thousands of years?
Right.
When we take over-the-counter CVS meds with all kinds of side effects, you know, the commercial, you may go blind, you can't see it.
But more side effects.
Side effects, right. And this is Western medicine. I was like, why not? So we go down, brother. Whew. We in this ceremony in this maluka. It's like a hut.
Right.
The shaman is music, Spanish, the language is Quechua.
Yeah.
They give you the tobacco. The tobacco is the masculine to ground you first.
Okay.
And it's not smoking. We had a female shaman. She blew this tobacco powder in our nose. Like, shut up. Damn near blew my brain like a shotgun. Like, God damn. I was like, shit. And for like 20 minutes, you
gotta be kidding me.
You floating, you don't know your brain. You're like, hey, what did I sign up for? And then you settle.
Okay.
And then the shaman summons you up to the thing, and you take the ayahuasca, and it's like a cup like this.
Okay.
And it's a bitter thing. You gotta take it.
Okay.
So you drink this, and it's just, and I'm like this. You know, I ain't trying to be disrespectful to nobody's culture. I'm like, God damn, praise God. No disrespect. I gotta go back to my. You got a mattress and a bucket.
Right.
And the whole purpose is that you purge.
You purge.
You're purging on. It's like a 9-10 hour ceremony.
You gotta be kidding.
I go back to my mattress. Now, John is next to me. Me and John are like buddies the whole time. We sit next to each other supporting. I hear John like an hour go in, he throwing up. I'm like, but I hear everybody. Nothing is happening to me. So I was like, maybe this shit ain't working on me. Let me just take my black ass to sleep. So I'm sleeping. About the second hour, I burp.
Oh.
Then I sit up. I'm like, and I'm sitting over this bucket. Now I'm like, now I'm purging.
Whoa.
And purging is different than throwing up. You know, you eat some bad food, you feel good.
Yeah.
Purging this is like 55 years of toxins and spirits and trauma, brother. And then we diet. We're like, we kind of fast. So I'm like, what am I throwing up? I ain't eating nothing.
What are you doing?
It's just shit.
That
Toxic. And then you hear like, that's what's coming out. Brother, then you settle. I'm getting to this point to tell you this. Ayahuasca. Now I'm laying there, and all of a sudden I see my grandmother, who passed away 9 years ago. My grandma Shirley. And then my Spanish babysitter, Abuela, comes over here. And then my white house mother at Milton Hershey, she was my house mother, Miss Battles. Man, all of them rest in peace, but they showed up like I'm talking to you. I'm sitting there, tears coming out my eyes, and Shirley is talking, because we had some family drama and beef, and I'm just crying. And for me, feminine energy has always kept me. Like it's always been like, am I making y'all proud? And I was just like,
it's just released. It's just a release.
Tears coming out my eyes, and she was so proud of me. She was talking in then I started speaking Spanish. My nickname was Canelo growing up. I'm the original. The boxer ain't had shit on me. And I'm way older than me. But my nickname was Canelo porque mi piel, which is my skin, was like a reddish brown. So my Dominican babies call me. So she was talking to me like, Canelo, te quiero. And we were talking, she was just telling me how proud she was in Spanish. And then Miss Battles, who was like Quaker Oats looking white lady, like white afro, old school, just my house mother. She's the reason I made it through boarding school.
Wow.
She was telling me she was proud, and she always made sure I made it through boarding school. So I'm like tripping. I don't know where I'm at. It's surreal. Like I'm talking to you, brother. This ain't like no spirit, what y'all, and we're having this conversation. I don't know how long it lasted. It felt like forever. And I'm seeing all the people that passed. My Aunt Hyson, my big brother Scott, Mike Troisi, my young brother Reggie, who just took his life a year ago. I'm seeing.
You seeing?
They all there. They're not talking. It's just my grandmother, my abuela, and Miss Battles. And after a while, I'm like, I'm purging. and the shaman lady picked me up to dance. I was the last one in there. I must have had a lot of purging. Yeah. So she's like, baila, which is then. I'm like, I ain't got no end. I was like, cause you like, I ain't got it. So she like, baila, and we dancing. And I'm like, lady, because what she was doing was, she didn't want me to relax because you're very vulnerable to other spiritual entities. So she was like, nah, you gotta get up and dance. And once that tribal music, I was, girl, this elderly lady, come on, don't start nothing. Twirling her, hustle. She got me going around the fire. Now, mind you, I hear people laughing. I know they have a good time, but I'm still trying to be respectful to ceremony. Right. I know. And she like, tú no estás un niño, tú no estás mujer, tú estás un hombre. Like, you a man. I was like, yeah, but lady, I ain't really got it. So it's, brother, it was, by the time I finished, they took me out. It was like 8-9 hours.
Right.
I done purged. They took me back. I finally came through it when I was in the cabin. Sister named Tamar and the brother Gabrielle, man, they were up with me all night. Like if you had to go take a crap, they walk you to the toilet. You vulnerable, throwing up. And they was with me until I came through, and they were like, "Bro, you're back." And I was like, I was so exhausted, but I felt so light. This reason I'm saying that is because I asked God, I want time with you.
You sure did.
And he gave me time and this whole experience. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait for the world to see this. I think it'll air summertime.
Where? On what?
Man, hopefully Netflix.
Okay, gotcha.
Prime or whatever they got going on. I ain't part of production. Right. Just sharing that to say, the Survivor 50 to me never really, I was like, because I know Jeff and them, they want everybody to keep sweating the brand and want to get on. I'm like, I already proved my wealth. Y'all know I should have been on, and not because I said it, but by y'all own metric. I went further than most people at that time. I was outspoken, even if it cost me death threats and whatever. I was part of the first game change that set the tone for the rest of Survivor. We uprooted the major alliance that had never been done before. Like, we were part of some real historic.
You were. That's why. So you were.
But the reason I'm saying that is because they knew. But my thing is, I went on with my life. I went on. I still did.
You went on now.
Chris.
Yeah.
I was on Without a Trace. I didn't. I in terms of entertainment, but I was still teaching, taking care of I was living life. And I think what they want you to do is put your life on hold for this little fleeting moment of fame. And it's like, nah. So when this opportunity to go to Ecuador came, I was so in gratitude to God, because I was like, I ain't looking for no fame. I just want God to be able to use me and for me to be able to continue to grow. If I'm gonna keep influencing all these young men and young women, children, people who know me, right, I want to be the best version of myself. Oh, and what better way than to leave the States and go in the Amazon rainforest? Wow. The Amazon rainforest, brother, with no distractions. And we just filmed that in December.
Wow. So your journey from Survivor to your organization has been well worth it. It's been well worth it.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's been well worth it. Well, I know we could talk. We could talk.
We always do.
But I just want you to be the first guest on my show, because you, to me, were an icon. And
thank you.
You were already going through a culture change with Survivor when you was on Survivor 4. So I wanted to be the one, because they always say, give someone their flowers. How they doing it? When are they doing it? So the One of a Kind podcast is going to be that podcast to give people like yourself and other people who are icons in my eyes, doing things for our cultures, different cultures and what have you. I'm going to give them their flowers now. So,
man,
right now, my brother.
You actually got real flowers. That's funny.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you and salute you.
Thank you, brother.
Because, and he's even came from look, I'm even growing my own roses. I'm growing roses for everybody. Yes, I'm growing roses.
Wow.
So guess what?
What?
You're the first person to get these roses.
Oh.
So, my brother,
man,
like you say, we don't ever give acknowledgement to other brothers. I'm giving it to you.
Thank you.
On the One of a Kind.
Man, it'll make me cry, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. I received this, man. It means the most, coming organically from one of my brothers. just because Black men specifically are out here on islands of depression and loneliness, fighting battles people don't have any idea. It's no disrespect to our sisters and the women in other cultures and even our own community. It's just, in this system of white supremacy, Black men are the target. It was that day in Pharaoh's day, which is why they had to get rid of the firstborn male. And it's like that today. And this isn't an indictment on everybody. I'm talking about systemic things that people don't talk about. Because when you say like people individually, I ain't got time to deal with you. I know what my reality, what your reality.
Right.
And one thing that could help us cope is when we acknowledge each other.
Yeah.
Because when the world is against us, we're so used to what you looking at and I'm gonna talk about you and gossip and chatty patty foolishness. And it's like, I could just give you your flowers. And even if I do have an issue, I can always pick up the phone.
Oh yeah.
And call my brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like just that's old school. Like, we just what, man? We got too many enemies.
We got too many enemies.
What we doing? Like, okay, we ain't gotta agree. We ain't gotta be on the same. But disrespect.
We don't.
We can highlight each other.
And I'm highlighting you.
And I'm touched by this, brother.
So for all the listeners and all the people that's watching, where can they find out about your organization?
For anyone interested in supporting our program, you can go to our website, which is www.thetymefoundation.org. Time Foundation is TYME Foundation.org. You can donate. You can see what we're doing. You can contact us. The 800 number is on there. But if you don't get to go on the website, it's 1-800-211-5535. You can contact Lawon. He can get in touch with me. And you can also just pray for us. Like, it doesn't always have to be something tangible. We can use good energy and prayers for the many people throughout the world doing work like this that don't necessarily get their flowers. So again, thetymefoundation.org. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's already supported us and those who will continue to support us. And I want to thank my brother Lawon for bringing me on and giving us these flowers, because my success is your and every other brother's success. And your success is definitely my and other brothers' success. So thank you.
You are very welcome. I thank you all for listening and watching The One of a Kind. Thank you. Hugs, high five, and kisses.
Give me my roses. I need my roses. I'll take my roses.